Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Alyssa and this is Into the Heartwild. And today I am bringing you guys a book tag. I figured it was finally time to do something fun and to help kind of break up the monotony of what I've been doing on the channel. So today's book tag is the Book Dragon tag that was created by Bookish Chaz over at Bookish Chaz. So I will have his page linked below along with his original video. All the questions will also be listed down below in the comments, not the comments, the description. So with that said, let's just go ahead and let's just jump right on into this. And just a disclaimer, I do have all the questions written down. So if I ever look like I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at the question. So question 1 is Talendor from Talendor's Quest. This is actually a book written by Chaz. So if you guys ever want to go check it out, you should. And the question is, name a book with an enormous library or book collection. So this was a little difficult for me because I could not for the life of me remember libraries or book collections in a book because I don't know why. But then I remembered that there is a particular author who actually likes to do this a lot, and that would be Kresley Cole. So the first one that came to mind was No Rest for the Wicked. This is Sebastian's book. Sebastian has the big, giant, enormous library. It was one of the selling points my bestie gave me when we were getting to his book. She's like, I know he's a vampire and I know those aren't your favorite, but he has a library. And I was like, okay, maybe I can get behind this. Turns out he is not the only one. She actually brings up this idea of these men having like huge libraries quite a few times throughout the entire series because there's a couple other guys who have big extensive libraries. So I'm going to show you guys this book, but I'm definitely going to say the Immortals After Dark series has it appear a lot. So question 2, Saphira from The Inheritance Cycle. Name a book or series that involves bonding two creatures. So I actually picked one of my longtime favorite series that includes bonding, and it actually involves bonding two dragons. And that would be the Dragon Riders of Pern series by Anne McCaffrey. This is the Harper Hall like special compendium set, but I have basically the entire collection. I think I'm missing one book, but this series, the entire thing, it involves the Dragon Riders bonding to their dragons, creating a telepathic link with their dragons, and it's a forever bond to where if the human dies, the dragons will blip out into basically a cold infernal, like not infernal, but like a cold in between is what they call it, and you'll never see them again. They essentially kind of like give up. Whereas if the dragon was to die, the human just kind of becomes lesser of who they were and just kind of lives with like that pain knowing. Some of the Dragon Riders tend to remove themselves from the world as well, but yeah, it's a very, very deep set bond, and it is throughout the entire series, and it involves them learning to bond from when they're babies, from when they hatch, which when you read the original of like how they were initially doing those things, you're like, whoa, that's violent. But it has, but like, you know, they now have like a safer way, obviously, like later on in the series, but it is very good. I do love it. I love just the bonding factor, the factor of it. So that is my pick. So question 3, Drogon from A Song of Ice and Fire. Name a book or series where one of the characters is virtually unstoppable. So for this question, I decided to take liberties with it because I really couldn't think of like a character who just is powerfully unstoppable. So I decided to go with a character who I personally view as being unstoppable because of how they are portrayed in the story. And for that, I'm going to go with Orca from the Shadow of the Gods, the Bloodsworn Saga by John Gwynne. She just exudes unstoppable force because she has one thing in mind, and that is getting her baby boy back, and she is stopping at nothing to do that. And she will commit the murder of the murders to get this baby boy back, okay? Like, and she just feels so unstoppable because she allows nothing to get in her way. She doesn't care if you're friends, if you're some other random person on the street, if you're the person who is the one who did and took her child, she will commit murder to get this child back. And to me, that just screams unstoppable force. So question number 4 is Balerion, the Black Dread from Fire and Blood. Name a book or series that has gigantic beasts. So for this one, I'm going with The Last Ranger by J.D.L. Russell. This is actually a new release by him. I read this in January, and this has giant titan beasts that roam the lands. And so like you can see like a ash dragon, I believe that's what they're called. In this one, I left the bookmark in the room, but I have a bookmark that has like a giant turtle that just kind of like has like a living landscape on its back, kind of like going through it. And there's just other titan beasts that are in this world. And while there's not a ton of diving into them in this particular book, we do get to see them, and we get to see them in the background. So I do hope going forward we will get to see more interaction with them as the series progresses, because this is the first in a new series. Question number 5, Smaug from The Hobbit. Name a book or series that involves talking animals or beasts. And I went with the classic Wind in the Willows. The entire book is just talking animals. Like, it doesn't get any better. There's no humans in this book at all. Like, they're mentioned in like the greater world and stuff, but there is no actual human characters throughout this book. It is strictly animals. That is it. They all talk. So that is my pick. It's an adorable, very soft, cozy book. So it's definitely one of my favorite classics. I haven't read a lot, but it is one of my favorite ones. And this, I also think, is just a really beautiful edition. So that is a bunch of sweet little talking animals. Question number 6, Falkor from The Never-Ending Story. I really love Falkor. Name a book or series where one of the characters is extremely lucky. Now for this, I went with the self-published series, Rise of the Dragon Slayers, Legends of Carrick. The character Carrick, okay? Carrick is, he goes through some of the most insane situations and always manages to come out alive. He is one of the luckiest characters that I have read about in probably, I don't know, forever, I guess. Just the things that Carrick goes through. Like, sure, he may come out a little beat up, a little maimed, a finger missing or two, you know, you never know, but he's alive. And it's the situations are they're just insane, because you're like, you probably should have died because of that. Like, you probably should have. And considering, because this is 3 books plus a short story, so this is the first 3 volumes. And each one, he just like progressively goes through something more and just manages to come out by like the skin of his teeth. And you're just like, oh boy, you are so lucky. Like by book 3, I was like, Carrick, you are pushing your luck, my bro. What are you doing? But he keeps going, and I'm going to keep reading. So yeah, it's not a finished story. There's still so much more. I don't know when the next book is coming, but I am so excited for it because I want to see what situation he gets himself out of next. Question number 7, Borch from The Witcher. Name a book or series with shape-shifting creatures. So this one took me a minute to figure out, because I was like, do I not read books with creatures in them that shapeshift that isn't romance? You know, I'm like, what? So but then I was looking at my manga and I realized, oh my God, I have the perfect answer for this, because this shapeshift is it's just, I love it because like it's so random and so weird, but I love it so much. So I went with Sayuki. This little dragon here, his name is Jeep. 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 He transforms, he shapeshifts into a Jeep. He shapeshifts into a vehicle. And I love it so much. It is the craziest. It's just the craziest little thing, like when you honestly think about it, because you're like, he transforms into a vehicle. And it's just It's just the funniest thing. And it's a vehicle big enough for 4 people because that's how many are in the group. I was hoping I could find him in his transformed state, but this volume has a lot of fighting in it, so he doesn't really show up too much. But no, he does. He turns into an actual vehicle. And I think it's the funniest thing. And I love it so much. And this is one of my favorite mangas of all time. And this is his like owner, Hakai. But yes, Jeep from Sayuki, greatest transformation creature out there. So question number 8 is Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. I love those movies, by the way. Name a book or series where someone must tame or train animals. So for this one, I'm going to actually go with The Forgotten Beast of Eld by Patricia A. McKillop. She doesn't train the animals, so it falls more into the category of taming them. She is a sorceress who has this ability to contact animals and make a connection with them and basically like tame them to kind of control them, and they will do as she tells them to do. They have a telepathic link with each other. And she has multiple. She's got like a dragon, an eagle, a jaguar. I almost said a lagwire. I don't know what that is. A lion and a swan. A dragon. I think I said that. She's got a whole little menagerie of animals that she has tamed through her magic powers and everything, and they do play a part in the story. They're not like a huge central part, so you don't really get to see her tame the animals, but it is a part of the story, and it is something that she does. And there is a particular animal that she does want during the duration of this book. So that is my pick for taming an animal. Question number 9. Now, for clarity reasons, I did change the dragon that was involved for this question because I no longer support that particular series or author, and I did talk to Chaz beforehand about this and got his permission to change this dragon. So the dragon I picked is Canth from the Dragon Riders of Pern series. This is Fenor's dragon. He's a big brown dragon, which is a very significant thing for his dragon. But I love him dearly, so that is the one I picked. Now the question is, name a book or series that involves a competition. So this was a little difficult for me because I actually hate competition arcs in books. In general, it is definitely one of the tropes that I tend to stay away from. I don't really find them all that enjoyable. So it did take me a minute to find something, and while filming this, I'm sitting right across from my manga shelf, and I realized I had the perfect manga for this because this is actually a competition. It's where the competition is like the core of the story, and I absolutely love it. So, Blue Lock by Muneyuki Kaneshiro, and the art is by Yusuke Nomura. So, the entire series is about a competition to become the top egoist of soccer. Basically, a bunch of boys out of high school, they're around like their early college age, they are thrown into a competition called Blue Lock to compete to be on Japan's top team and be their number 1 striker. And the aspect that I love most about this series is that it shows how selfish and egotistical and just evil sports players can actually be, and how competitive they can be, and how ugly the competitive side of sports can actually be. A lot of sports mangas tend to really rely on the happy-go-lucky, we're all best friends, we're a brotherhood, a sisterhood, like if we come together we can overcome anything. They like to play on that, and I'm a sucker for it. I'm not gonna lie, okay? Like I love the camaraderie of them. But this one, I love just the complete 180 of what you're used to where you just get these characters that are just like, I'm gonna kill you if you get in my way again. Like, I will take you down. I will break your leg if you so much as even think you're better at soccer than me. And it is insane. And I only own the first volume right now. I would like to own the rest of it, but I do read it digitally, so I'm very far in it. And it just like progressively, like these guys just get more and more and more just horrendously competitive with each other, and you're just like, oh my god. And I really, really love that because it really just shows the the other side of sports that a lot of people try to keep dusted under the rug. So that's my pick. If you're into manga and you want to check out something, I definitely recommend this one just for that alone. Now, question number 10, the very last one, is Errol from Guards Guards. Name a book or series with presumed misfits. So for this question, I have decided to go with the Raven Boys cycle. Yeah, the Raven cycle. The Raven cycle. The first book is called The Raven Boys. This is a YA series. I'm pretty sure many of you have probably heard of it. But the group, the 4 of them. Yes. Yes, it's 4. I'm like, it's been a minute. But they are definitely a ragtag group of little misfits. There's Blue, who's like the quirky kind of girl who's like, I'm not like the other girls. I'm kind of quirky. I'm weird. I grew up in like a very witchy home. And then there's Ronan, who's like big, fierce, and kind of like the bad boy of the group. And then there's Adam, who's like kind of reluctant and reclusive and, just kind of like, oh, I don't really deserve all the good stuff. And then there's Gansey, who's the little rich boy. And they're all friends, and they're just the oddest little misfit group of kids that I can definitely think of that I've read about. And this is also like one of the few YA series that I genuinely love. So that is my pick. Gansey and his little gang of friends. That is all of my answers to these questions. I had a lot of fun filling them in for this prompt. And if you guys like and all of that other stuff, drop a comment, like, subscribe, all of those good things, and I will see you next time. Bye.